Welcome back, space dreamers. Tonight, we journey far into the future, to a time when humanity has reached beyond the stars. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let your imagination travel far beyond the familiar constellations, past the dying embers of forgotten suns. A singular, quiet promise hangs suspended in the cosmic tapestry. It is a moon, not unlike our own Luna, yet profoundly transformed, silently orbiting a gas giant whose rings shimmer with an ethereal, ancient light. This is Artemis Arc, humanity's celestial cradle, a silent sentinel holding the fragile blueprints of life itself. Imagine the vast, cold expanse of space, hushed and infinite, and within that profound stillness, a singular orb of hope. Its surface, from this distance, appears serene, almost dormant, yet beneath its rugged exterior hums a purpose so vital, so deeply resonant. It whispers through the void. A cold, soft blue glow emanates faintly from its distant form, a beacon not of power, but of preservation, a gentle pulse in the vast darkness. This is where our journey begins, a voyage not across the stars, but into a star, or rather, into a moon, remade into an arc, waiting for the dawn of a new green world. Feel the weight of its immense quietude, the patient waiting, the boundless potential held captive within its cold, lunar heart. It is a monument to survival, a whisper of spring in an otherwise eternal winter of space. This is the ultimate vault, a silent promise, drifting endlessly through the cosmic night. As we draw closer, the immense scale of Artemis Arc begins to unfold, revealing not just a moon, but an intricately sculpted world, a masterpiece of bioengineering, camouflaged beneath layers of lunar dust and rock. The faint blue glow now resolves into a subtle, almost imperceptible network of energy conduits, tracing delicate patterns across the grays and shadows of the surface. It is not an artificial gleam, but a deep, internal light, filtering through translucent lunar strata, hinting at the vast, complex systems churning patiently within. This moon breathes, not with atmosphere, but with the measured pulse of dormant genetic archives, its very being a shell designed to safeguard the delicate essence of Earth's lost biodiversity. Think of it as a cosmic seed pod, intricately veined, its outer skin hardened by millennia of solar winds and micrometeoroids, yet utterly fragile in its precious cargo. Every curve, every crater, every shadowed ridge now seems intentional, a part of a grand design, a testament to a desperate, defiant hope. We are not just approaching a rock, we are approaching a slumbering giant, its dreams filled with the rustling leaves of forgotten forests, the vibrant hues of extinct flora, the intricate dance of vanished ecosystems, the air or lack thereof. Around this celestial guardian feels charged with an expectant silence, a profound waiting. It holds the echoes of every species that ever bloomed, every creature that ever breathed, tucked away in cryostasis, awaiting a future that may or may not come. Its presence is a lullaby for a sleeping earth, a testament to a love for life that transcended catastrophe. Now, let your perspective shift, allowing your consciousness to drift past the silent exterior, through the carefully guarded thresholds, and into the very core of this transformed celestial body. Imagine the slow, deliberate descent, not a plunge, but a gentle easing into an engineered abyss. The cold blue light intensifies, becoming a guiding presence, painting the colossal internal structures with an otherworldly luminescence. We are entering the silent sentinel, a journey into immense, quiet caverns that stretch further than the eye can comprehend, carved not by geological forces, but by the relentless will of a desperate humanity. The initial entry point is a vast, cathedral-like chamber, its walls gleaming with the polished sheen of ancient alloys, yet retaining the raw, organic feel of the lunar rock it displaced. Here, sound is swallowed, absorbed by the sheer scale, leaving only the soft, ambient hum of life support and cryopreservation systems. A lullaby of silent machinery. This is where Dr. Eris Thorne will one day embark, a lonely voyager into humanity's most precious legacy. Her path, though unseen now, is etched into these colossal passageways, leading deeper and deeper into the moon's belly, towards the heart of the genetic archives. Feel the immense depth below, the profound sense of history encapsulated within these engineered catacombs. Every corridor, every chamber, holds a fragment of a lost world, patiently waiting for the touch of awakening. This is not merely a vault. It is a memory palace, a submerged forest of dormant potential, a final, monumental act of hope contained within the cold embrace of a distant moon. The vessel, a silent glider of deep space chrome, now eased its way toward a gargantuan opening in Artemis Arc's surface, a colossal fissure, subtly integrated into a pre-existing crater. It was not a violent scar, but a finely sculpted gateway, framed by crystalline structures that pulsed with the soft, internal blue light of the moon. As the craft drifted closer, the magnitude of the entrance became awe-inspiring. A gateway not merely into rock, but into a meticulously engineered void. The external lunar dust, stirred by the subtle thrust of the ship, seemed to shimmer like ancient starlight, momentarily catching the filtered luminescence before settling back into eternal stillness. This was the threshold, a passage from the cosmic void into a manufactured Eden awaiting reclamation. Once through the monumental opening, the glide ship entered a vast, cavernous tunnel. Its walls, a seamless blend of natural rock and polished, obsidian-like composites, the blue energy conduits, which had appeared as delicate tracery on the surface, now manifested as thick, luminous veins running along the curving walls, illuminating the descent into the moon's heart. The silence here was absolute, broken only by the faintest hum of the ship's grav drives, a sound swallowed effortlessly by the immense space. Dr. Eris Thorne, though unseen, felt the profound stillness, the deliberate slowness of this initial descent, a respectful entry into humanity's most sacred archive. The long descent culminated not in a sudden stop, but in a graceful glide into an immense antechamber, a colossal, spherical space where the blue conduits converged into intricate patterns on a central, gleaming platform. Here, the hum of machinery became slightly more pronounced, a gentle thrum of life support and environmental controls, a subtle whisper against the backdrop of cosmic quiet. The vessel settled softly onto one of several designated docking bays, surrounded by what appeared to be holographic projections of celestial maps and Earth's forgotten biomes, swirling silently in the cold, luminous air. This was the foyer to life's memory, a place of quiet contemplation before the true work began. The glide ship continued its measured descent, the luminous blue veins along the tunnel walls growing wider and more intricate, weaving into elaborate geometric patterns that hinted at intelligent design beneath the natural rock. The air, though contained within the vessel, felt subtly cooler, carrying the faint, clean scent of filtered ozone and ancient minerals, a stark contrast to the vacuum outside. The journey was a slow, deliberate unwrapping of the moon's secrets, each meter revealing another layer of its profound purpose. Gradually, the tunnel began to open, not into another linear passage, but into an immense, spherical chamber. It was a vast, transitional space, the true heart of the initial entry phase, suspended within its center. A colossal, dormant ring structure slowly rotated, barely perceptible, its surface shimmering with the same soft blue luminescence, suggesting a grand, yet inactive, staging mechanism. The sheer scale was breathtaking, designed for entities far larger than the sleek glide ship, underscoring the monumental effort behind Artemis Ark's creation. Dr. Thorne, from his unseen vantage point within the cockpit, observed the chamber's silent majesty. He felt the ship's grav drives adjust with the gentlest of nudges, aligning with the chamber's subtle energy fields. Above and below the colossal ring, smaller, hexagonal apertures glowed with a faint violet light, like dormant eyes awaiting activation. These were clearly docking ports or entryways into further, more specialized sections of the vault, hinting at the vast, partitioned nature of the life contained within, each holding untold biological wonders. The glide ship drifted toward the colossal, dormant ring, its rotation so languid it seemed suspended in time. As it drew closer, the intricate carvings on its surface became visible, delicate, sweeping lines that resembled ancient botanical illustrations, subtly glowing with a stored, faint blue energy. They depicted spiraling vines, unfurling leaves, and geometric representations of seed structures, hinting at the true nature of this moon. The sheer artistry, combined with the scale, spoke of a civilization that valued life deeply, even as it faced its demise. Dr. Thorne, hidden within the ship's quiet embrace, felt a connection to these long-gone artisans, their silent message echoing across epochs. As the glide ship paused before the ring, a ripple of energy pulsed through the intricate carvings. The soft blue luminescence intensified, tracing the botanical patterns with a vibrant glow that seemed to breathe with ancient power. A low, resonant hum, far deeper than the glide ship's grav drives, vibrated through the chamber. A sound felt more than heard, a gentle awakening. The ring's rotation subtly accelerated, and a segment of its inner surface began to withdraw, revealing a passageway beyond. It was not a violent opening, but a deliberate, slow unfolding, a door patiently revealing its interior, as if waiting for a long-anticipated guest. This was the threshold to the true vault, the echoes of green made manifest. Guided by an invisible tractor beam, the glide ship glided through the newly opened portal, leaving the vast, spherical chamber behind. The passage was narrower, yet the walls here were different. Instead of obsidian composites, they were lined with what appeared to be organic, crystalline growths. These formations emitted a soft, internal bioluminescence in shades of gentle green and amber, casting a warm, living light that felt utterly alien, yet profoundly comforting. Faint traces of moisture beaded on the surfaces, glistening like dew, carrying a subtle, earthy aroma that mingled with the clean ozone. This was a corridor, but it felt like a living artery, transporting the ship deeper into the moon's core, towards the genesis of humanity's future. A stark contrast to the barren vacuum outside. The glide ship passed through the threshold, its momentum carrying it into the heart of the ring. The passage was not a mere tunnel, but a sculpted corridor, its walls smooth and cool to the touch of the mind, bathed in the same gentle blue luminescence that had greeted them outside. The air, though contained, felt vast, carrying a faint, clean scent of ozone and ancient stone. The sound of the hum intensified subtly, a deep, resonant pulse that seemed to guide the vessel deeper, a gentle invitation further into the moon's silent embrace. Dr. Thorne, within the ship's quiet hull, felt a profound shift, moving from the cosmic void into a manufactured world of incredible purpose. As the glide ship navigated the winding corridor, its walls began to reveal subtle textures beneath their luminous sheen. Faint, almost imperceptible lines crisscrossed the surfaces, hinting at hidden layers of technology. A complex web of conduits and circuits embedded within the moon's repurposed rock. The blue light pulsed rhythmically, a silent heartbeat in the vastness. Occasionally, small, recessed alcoves appeared, housing dormant instruments that glowed with a faint, internal energy, like sleeping sentinels. The passage itself seemed to widen and narrow with an organic grace, never feeling uniform, always gently guiding the ship forward, deeper into the echoes of green. Its true scale now beginning to unfold, the sense of meticulous design permeated every surface, a testament to the advanced civilization that had crafted this extraordinary vessel of life. The silence was profound, broken only by the almost inaudible thrum of the glide ship and the distant, deeper hum of the moon's core. After what felt like an age, the corridor opened into an immense, circular chamber, a breathtaking vista of the moon's true purpose. Below, stretching out into the blue-violet haze, lay countless crystalline structures, arranged in perfect, concentric circles. These were the cryochambers, each one a shimmering, pillar-like vessel, glowing with a soft, internal luminescence that pulsed in sync with the moon's deep hum. They stood like silent sentinels, holding the genetic legacies of a lost world. The sheer number was staggering, an ocean of potential life, dormant and waiting. The glide ship hovered at the edge of this vast expanse, its lights reflecting off the polished surfaces of the chambers, a tiny speck against the monumental scale of humanity's genetic arc. The glide ship, with Dr. Thorne at its helm, finally emerged from the winding, textured passage into an immense, cylindrical antechamber. Its walls, no longer rugged rock, transformed into seamless, polished titanium, tracing intricate luminescent patterns that converged towards a massive, central pillar. The pervasive blue light deepened here, reflecting off the metallic expanse with a newfound, reverent quality, and the air grew subtly colder, carrying a clean, almost sterile scent. High above, integrated seamlessly into the polished walls of the chamber, a series of complex, multi-jointed mechanisms began to shimmer with a faint, internal light. These were the dormant guardians, stylized metallic sentinels, their optical sensors dark, yet Their elegant forms conveyed an undeniable, silent strength, poised to protect the moon's precious cargo with unyielding resolve. The glideship ascended slowly towards the massive central pillar. A soft, high-frequency hum subtly joining the moon's deeper thrum. Up close, the pillar's surface was intricately etched with glowing lines of data, a colossal conduit flowing with pure information, confirming it as the silent, transmitting heart of the echoes of green. Managing the vault's intricate lifeblood, the glideship drifted effortlessly across the vast expanse of the antechamber, its silent momentum carrying it towards the colossal central pillar. As it approached, the intricate luminescent patterns etched into the polished titanium walls began a slow, synchronized ripple, like liquid light, softly tracing new, unseen pathways. These patterns subtly intensified as they converged upon the pillar's base, drawing the eye with an almost magnetic pull. A very low, profound hum, barely audible, yet deeply resonant, now emanated from the pillar itself, a frequency that vibrated gently through the glideship's hull, a silent announcement of its immense, latent power. Pausing respectfully before the monolithic structure, the glideship's forward sensors registered a subtle shift in the pillar's surface. Without a sound, a vertical section of the seamless titanium slowly receded inward, revealing a perfectly dark, rectangular aperture. Simultaneously, high above, the dormant metallic sentinels lining the chamber walls stirred, their multi-jointed forms shimmering more brightly, and their elegant optical sensors pulsed with a fleeting, internal spark of violet light. Then, from within the newly opened passage, a translucent, three-dimensional schematic shimmered into being, a holographic blueprint of the vault's intricate inner layers, rendered in soft greens and ambers, highlighting diverse biomes and countless genetic archives. Guided by the holographic blueprint, the glideship eased forward, slipping silently through the now fully open aperture. As its stern cleared the entrance, the colossal pillar behind it began its slow, quiet reformation. The seamless titanium surfaces merging once more with an almost imperceptible whisper, sealing the antechamber away. The immediate passage ahead was a departure from the vastness, narrower and gently curving, its walls lined with intricate bioluminescent panels. These panels pulsed with a tranquil emerald green light, gradually deepening from the antechamber's cold blue, bathing the glideship in a verdant glow that evoked a profound, almost forgotten memory of Earth's vibrant, living landscapes. Recessed along these walls, countless vitrines, still dark and dormant, lined the passage, silent promises of the botanical treasures they held within. The glideship, an extension of the silence it navigated, eased into the rectangular passage. The The monolithic aperture, having unveiled its secrets, now sealed itself with a soft, almost imperceptible click, a rhythmic exhalation of the structure, the luminous holographic schematic, a guiding spirit of greens and ambers, flowed seamlessly ahead, transforming the dark tunnel into a shimmering corridor of potential, its light reflecting gently off the polished, almost obsidian-like walls within. A cool, still air, untroubled by currents, enveloped the vessel, carrying with it a faint, clean scent of ozone and something distantly organic, like earth after a light rain, hinting at the dormant life deep within. Slowly, the glideship began a gentle descent, its silent engines barely a whisper against the profound quiet of the vault. The passage widened imperceptibly, its walls curving with a subtle grace that suggested organic growth rather than mere construction. A gentle arc flowing deeper into the moon's core, the holographic blueprint shimmered and reformed, now illustrating the specific internal architecture of the initial cryostorage corridors. Long, spiraling pathways that coiled around a central, unseen axis, tiny pinprick lights, like distant stars, began to appear along the corridor's distant edges, hinting at automated navigation markers or dormant data nodes, their soft cyan glow piercing the pervasive dimness, each a silent promise of direction. The gentle descent continued for what felt like an unmeasured expanse of time, a serene fall through layers of polished rock and advanced engineering. As the glideship neared the first indicated cryochamber sections, the low hum from the central pillar, which had resonated from the antechamber, began to subtly intensify and shift, a barely perceptible change in frequency, like a waking murmur from deep within the moon's heart. It wasn't an alarm, but rather a slow, deliberate adjustment, as if the vault systems were quietly acknowledging the vessel's progress, subtly reallocating dormant power to the approaching sectors. The holographic schematic momentarily pulsed brighter, a soft, encouraging beacon, as if confirming the awakening of the deeper archives, its outlines sharper, its pathways more defined. The stars are waiting. If you enjoyed this voyage into tomorrow, subscribe for new journeys every week. The glideship, a hushed whisper against the profound quiet, continued its gentle, uninterrupted descent. The distant pinprick lights that had emerged along the corridor's edges now resolved into intricate patterns of fine, glowing lines, interwoven beneath the polished surface of the obsidian-like walls. These were not mere markers, but luminous conduits, a living network of data and subtle energy, humming with an unheard frequency, directing the vessel deeper into the moon's complex architecture. The holographic blueprint, ever present and responsive, fluidly reformed, shedding its previous broad strokes to reveal minute details of the impending cryo-storage corridors. It now highlighted individual hexagonal storage units, thousands upon thousands, arranged in crystalline tessellations along the spiraling paths. Each unit shimmered in a soft amber outline on the holographic display, a silent promise of dormant life, a tiny universe of preserved potential, waiting patiently in the cold heart of the vault. As the glide ship continued its glide, an almost imperceptible shift occurred in the air surrounding the vessel. The faint ozone and organic scent now carried a subtle, crisp chill, a clear indication of proximity to the vast cryosystems that maintained the vault's precious contents. The passage, which had been a curving, contained channel, suddenly broadened, opening into a breathtakingly immense circular chamber. The spiraling pathways, glimpsed on the holographic map, were revealed in their true scale, converging gracefully from all directions onto this central nexus. From the very heart of the chamber, rising through a perfectly circular aperture in the floor, emanated a soft, ethereal column of violet light. It pulsed with a profound, steady rhythm, illuminating the polished, dark surfaces of the chamber with a deep, contemplative glow, hinting at the immense power and vital function of the core that lay beneath. Its gentle rhythm, a heartbeat in the lunar silence. Within the glide ship's hushed interior, Dr. Eris Thorne, her form a calm silhouette against the soft glow of the console, leaned slightly forward. Her attention was drawn to the array of translucent holographic displays that now filled a portion of the vessel's command interface. These were not generic schematics, but live data streams, meticulously detailing the genetic identifiers of untold species, environmental parameters, and cryostasis protocols for dormant life. Each line of softly glowing script represented a thread of Earth's lost biodiversity, meticulously catalogued and preserved. Her gaze then drifted to the awe-inspiring column of violet light dominating the central chamber, its rhythm now clearly defined. A slow, deliberate pulse. The glide ship, an elegant whisper of advanced alloys and light, drifted closer to the central column of violet light. This wasn't merely illumination. It was a visible current, a slow, mesmerizing vortex of energy swirling upward from the depths. Its profound, steady rhythm resonated with the glide ship's own subtle hum, a sympathetic vibration that suggested a deep, intricate connection. The ambient chill intensified gently, a crisp caress rather than a biting cold, making the air around Dr. Eris Thorne's vessel feel alive with unseen processes. The spiraling pathways, converging from all directions, seemed to draw their energy from this luminous heart. Each segment glowing with a faint, reflected sheen. As the glideship drew closer, the column resolved into more distinct, luminous threads, like braided rivers of light. Each thread, Eris now perceived, carried a delicate, shimmering code, a cascade of genetic information flowing upwards. The violet was indeed dominant, representing the raw power and data transmission, but interwoven were golden strands of botanical data and silver streams signifying zoological blueprints. The air, now distinctly cool and clean, carried no scent save for a faint, almost imperceptible metallic tang, a signature of the advanced cryosystems working in perfect, silent harmony surrounding the base of the violet column, arranged in perfect concentric rings, were large crystalline nodes, each throbbing with a soft, internal glow, acting as relays for the immense energy and data exchange. These nodes were the nexus where the preserved life would one day be accessed and brought forth. Their surfaces, obsidian-like, pulsed in sync with the central column, a testament to their vital role. The glideship settled gently onto a designated platform at the edge of the central chamber, a vast, circular docking area that hummed with a low, almost infrasonic frequency. Beyond the platform, a section of the dark, polished wall shimmered, then became transparent, revealing a glimpse into one of the immense cryo-storage corridors. Thousands upon thousands of hexagonal units, previously seen only on the holographic blueprint, were now visible in their true, silent majesty. Each unit held a subtle, amber glow, a faint echo of the dormant life within, carefully preserved at temperatures colder than deep space. This direct, visual confirmation of the vault's scale was profound. Eris knew that within these meticulously arranged hexagons lay the complete genetic library of a lost world, spanning eons, waiting for the precise moment of awakening. A silent promise held fast against the void. The glideship, guided by an unseen force, was gently drawn into the outermost currents of the violet column. A new, subtle resonance hummed through the vessel's hull, not an alarm, but a sympathetic vibration, as if the ship itself was learning to breathe the data-rich air. Through the viewport, the individual threads of light became almost tangible, flowing past in mesmerizing streams, each containing a galaxy of microscopic information. Eris perceived not just visual data, but an almost audible whisper, the collective memory of countless species encoded into the very fabric of these shimmering rivers. The golden botanical strands seemed to possess a latent warmth, a stored vibrancy, while the silver zoological streams carried the ghost of motion, of instinct. The glideship's diagnostic panels, usually reserved for navigation and systems integrity, subtly shifted, interpreting the raw data stream into more comprehensible, abstract patterns, suggesting DNA helices in constant, silent motion. As the glideship stabilized within the column's gentle current, Eris turned his gaze to the crystalline nodes below, still glowing with their soft, internal light. Through the glideship's advanced magnification, they revealed themselves to be far more than mere relays. Each obsidian-like sphere contained swirling, faint nebulae of nascent biological processes. These were sophisticated cellular incubators designed to slowly, carefully begin the cellular differentiation process, nudging dormant genetic material towards the first spark of life. When the conditions were precisely met, they were cradles of silent anticipation, holding the promise of renewal in suspended animation. The cool air, carrying its faint metallic tang, now also held an almost imperceptible, sweet, organic resonance, an ethereal breath from these slumbering nurseries, with the glideship's instruments confirming the integrity of the data stream and the stable state of the incubation nodes. Eris gently guided the vessel deeper. The vibrant violet column began to thin slightly, diverging into broader, less intense channels of light that led away into vast, cavernous spaces carved within the lunar rock. These new channels glowed with a soft, ambient jade, a color Eris recognized instantly as the signature of fully cataloged and stabilized botanical archives. This was the true echoes of green, not as a visual forest, but as an ethereal, all-encompassing energy signature of preserved flora. Holographic projections, faint and ephemeral, occasionally flickered into existence along the channel walls, displaying ghost-like images of ancient earth flora. Towering sequoias, delicate ferns, vibrant orchids, their forms rippling like water in the current of light. The glideship's path became a winding river through a dream garden of lost life. The ethereal breath from the slumbering nurseries expanded, filling the vast internal expanse of Artemis Arc with a deep, resonant hum. It was not a sound heard with the ears, but felt in the very fabric of one's being, a symphony of silent expectation, a collective sigh of countless species held in profound stasis. The gentle, almost imperceptible currents of vital energy, now flowing with a quiet confidence, coursed through the crystalline structures of the vault, nourishing the delicate balance between dormant past and potential future. Each shimmering thread of light, once a mere stream of data, now vibrated with a palpable presence, a stored vibrancy that hinted at the vivid ecosystems waiting to reawaken. The colossal scale of the endeavor became profoundly clear, not merely a collection of seeds, but a cradled world, a monumental undertaking of life preserved. The air itself, carrying its faint metallic tang, had softened, imbued now with a deeper, more encompassing sweetness, a promise woven into the very atmosphere. It was the quiet majesty of a moon transformed, holding within its heart the verdant dreams of a lost earth, patiently tending to them through an endless night. From this silent, pulsating heart, the awareness broadened, extending outward to the moon itself. Artemis Arc, no longer a barren rock, orbited with serene dignity around a distant, dying gas giant. Its surface, now a masterpiece of interwoven shielding and subtle energy arrays, the cold, impartial light of a fading, supergiant star cast long, hushed shadows across its transformed face, painting intricate patterns of dark and subtle luminescence. It was a sentinel of extraordinary purpose, a solitary beacon in the vast, cosmic expanse, its silent vigil unbroken across eons. The deep quiet of space embraced it, a stillness so profound it felt like the universe itself held its breath, deferring to the fragile hope cradled within. Here, time seemed to slow, stretched thin like gossamer, as if the moon itself had entered a state of suspended animation, mirroring the life it safeguarded. Its very presence spoke of enduring legacy, a testament to resilience, a quiet promise whispered across the light years, waiting for the right moment to awaken the slumbering dreams it held so carefully. As the gentle currents of this cosmic lullaby washed over the Artemis Arc, an ultimate stillness settled, deep and absolute. The profound sleep of life within continued, undisturbed, safe, and utterly sound. The moon, a quiet guardian, maintained its endless vigil, a silent promise reflecting the distant, ancient stars that glittered like scattered dust motes across the canvas of eternity. Every genetic echo, every dormant spore, every blueprint of forgotten bloom or vanished beast rested in perfect peace, cradled in a silence that spoke not of an end, but of an infinite pause. This celestial sanctuary, bathed in the soft, cool glow of faraway nebulae and the faintest whispers of cosmic dust, held humanity's most precious legacy. It was a place of profound rest, where the dreams of a lost world awaited their distant, soft dawn. Breathe deeply now, and imagine that quiet, enduring hope, suspended in the cold embrace of space, yet warm with the potential for life renewed. The Artemis Arc sleeps, and in its slumber, it holds the dream of all that will be, a final, peaceful testament to life's unwavering desire to bloom again under a new sky. The immense silence of space, once an oppressive void, had become a comforting presence around Artemis Arc within its heart. The delicate threads of life awaited their cue. The external shields, vast and shimmering, reflected the faint light of the distant supergiant, creating an illusion of gentle tides across its transformed surface. It was a cosmic cradle drifting through eternity, its purpose etched into every intricate layer of its engineering. Far below, a singular point of light began its careful approach. A tiny vessel, a mere mote against the moon's grandeur, carrying the singular hope of retrieval. This was the moment. Inside the approaching vessel, Dr. Eris Thorne, a silhouette of quiet resolve, reviewed the ancient schematics, their lines humming with data from a lost age. The cool, ambient light of the cockpit reflected in the polished surface of the control panel, illuminating the faint lines of concentration on their face. This was not merely a mission. It was a pilgrimage, a step into a dream held captive by eons. The silence in the cockpit was profound, broken only by the soft hum of the ship's engines and the gentle thrum of their own steady heartbeat. Ahead, the primary access port of Artemis Arc, a grand, shielded aperture, began to cycle open, revealing a glimpse of the illuminated corridors within. The vessel glided smoothly through the vast, shimmering force field of the primary access port, a membrane of energy that parted silently, then sealed again behind it. The immediate interior was cavernous, a monumental docking bay carved directly from the moon's heart. Soft, ambient light filtered through unseen layers of rock and shielding, cast long, tranquil shadows. It felt less like a sterile station and more like a cathedral of quiet purpose. Immense, silent machinery lined the walls, dormant giants waiting for a command that might never come. This initial chamber, a transitional space between the emptiness of cosmos and the fullness within, breathed with an ancient, patient rhythm. The primary access port, a marvel of ancient engineering, unfolded its vast, segmented panels with a deliberate, hushed grace. As the opening widened, the deep void yielded to a soft, inviting illumination that beckoned the vessel deeper. Dr. Eris Thorne guided their craft through the immense threshold. The transition from the silent, stardusted cosmos to the moon's protected interior, feeling like slipping into a warm, cosmic embrace. The outer shields of Artemis Arc sealed silently behind them, erasing the universe outside and solidifying the feeling of profound isolation, yet also profound safety. A gentle, almost imperceptible hum resonated through the ship's hull, a quiet confirmation that they were now truly inside the heart of humanity's hidden hope, enveloped by the moon's ancient, yet vital, purpose. The light ahead pulsed with a promise of revelation, guiding them further into the colossal structure. The entry tunnel slowly broadened, revealing a truly colossal inner chamber, a vast docking bay that stretched beyond the immediate reach of their ship's floodlights. The air, recycled for millennia, carried a faint, sterile scent of ozone and preserved metals. Intricate crystalline structures pulsed with soft, rhythmic cyan and violet light along the walls, providing ambient illumination without casting harsh shadows. The scale was overwhelming, a testament to the lost civilization's ambition. Holographic pathway markers, dormant until now, flickered to life in the periphery of Eris's vision, projecting soft, directional arrows that seemed to float in the vastness. Here, the profound silence was not empty, but filled with the weight of dormant purpose, a cosmic library waiting for its first reader in an epoch. With a soft hiss, the vessel's main hatch cycled open, and Dr. Eris Thorne stepped onto a smooth, obsidian-like floor, the surface cool and silent under the sturdy boots of their advanced EVA suit. Their breath was steady within the helmet, a calm counterpoint to the quiet reverence of the moment. The ambient lighting of the colossal bay seemed to deepen as they moved, revealing more of the architectural grandeur. Towering support pillars, their surfaces etched with ancient symbols and circuit paths, soared upwards, disappearing into the distant ceiling. Each step echoed slightly in the vastness, not a jarring sound, but a gentle ripple in the profound stillness. Dr. Eris Thorne steered the vessel with a soft touch, allowing the immense craft to drift deeper into the monumental docking bay. The holographic pathway markers, now fully vibrant, pulsed with soft cyan, guiding them towards a designated mooring point that shimmered faintly in the distance. The ship's engines sighed, a barely audible whisper, as their output was reduced to mere thrusters, delicately adjusting their course. Above them, the colossal vaulted ceiling disappeared into a gentle haze of light, its true height unknowable from their current vantage point within the ship. The crystalline structures along the walls continued their silent, rhythmic dance of cyan and violet, reflecting like distant stars upon the polished hull of the Artemis Ark. A soft, magnetic thrum signaled the ship's final docking sequence, a gentle locking into place that settled the Artemis Ark with an almost reverent sigh. The internal airlock hissed softly open, revealing a short gangway extending to the polished, dark gray surface of the docking platform. Eris, his advanced EVA suit a second skin, moved with a deliberate slowness, his every motion calculated in the contained environment. The pressure seals engaged behind him, a quiet assurance of safety, and with a final, barely audible click, he stepped onto the moon's floor. The crystalline light pulsed directly above him now, casting long, elegant shadows that stretched into the cavernous space. The scale from the ground was even more staggering. The hull of his own ship loomed overhead like a silent mountain, and beyond it, the vast expanse of the bay stretched into the softly illuminated distance, revealing faint architectural details of immense arches and supporting buttresses that disappeared into the ethereal haze. Following the soft emerald guidance of the holographic arrow, Eris began his journey deeper into the vault. His footsteps, dampened by the suit's advanced soles, were barely perceptible against the smooth, metallic floor. A lone echo in the vastness, the main thoroughfare broadened, flanked by immense, subtly textured walls that seemed to absorb sound, reinforcing the pervasive quiet. As he progressed, the rhythmic cyan and violet glow intensified slightly, revealing intricate patterns etched into the metallic surfaces, abstract representations, perhaps, of root systems or branching neural networks, hinting at the purpose concealed within. The faint organic scent, detected briefly within the ship, grew subtly stronger here, a ghost of chlorophyll and rich soil, carried on the recycled air that flowed from hidden vents. It was a smell that spoke of life, dormant but ever present, a scent of earth carefully preserved. Eris's first steps onto the lunar surface were met with a profound stillness, a deep quiet that seemed to absorb all sound, only faintly disturbed by the gentle hum of his suit's life support. He turned his gaze, allowing his eyes to adjust to the grand, almost spiritual scale of the docking platform, which stretched wider than any cityscape he had ever seen in holographic archives of old Earth. Ahead, a luminous pathway, a ribbon of soft cyan light, emerged from the polished dark gray floor, a silent invitation, clearly indicating the primary route into the moon's depths. The crystalline light from above painted shifting, elegant patterns across the vastness, highlighting the sheer, smooth surfaces of the walls and the distant architectural details that faded into the ethereal haze. Each reflection was like a silent thought, guiding him forward. The pathway led him further into the immense space, past the silent, towering bulk of his own vessel, the Artemis Ark, which now seemed like a mere pebble in this vast, engineered cavern. The recycled air within his suit felt expansive and cool against his skin. He observed the subtle, perfectly smooth undulations of the floor, which gave way to gentle inclines, hinting at the moon's repurposed internal topography. As he walked, the architectural details became clearer, solidifying from the haze. Colossal arches of iridescent metal curved gracefully overhead, their intricate latticework disappearing into the ambient glow, forming a magnificent, almost spiritual corridor that seemed to breathe with its own quiet purpose. After what felt like a long, meditative walk, the luminous pathway culminated at a silent, sleek vehicle, a self-guided transport designed for traversing the vault's immense internal distances. Its polished, dark surface reflected the soft overhead light, making it seem an organic part of the very structure. The transport's hatch slid open with a whisper of displaced air, revealing a softly illuminated interior and an inviting, cool luminescence. Stepping across the threshold, Eris entered a small observation chamber, its curved viewport offering a panoramic view of the vast, glowing tunnel ahead. The air inside the transport was subtly cooler than his suit's internal environment, and a faint, rhythmic hum indicated its readiness to depart on the next leg of his journey. Eris continued his walk, the luminous pathway drawing him deeper. The colossal arches, once distant and ethereal, began to close in, their iridescent metal shimmering with a subdued internal light that pulsed with the rhythm of the moon's silent workings. The path, once vast, gently narrowed, defining the corridor more distinctly. A low, resonant hum, previously imperceptible, now began to thrum against the soles of his boots, a vibration more felt than heard, emanating from the very structure of the walls. It was a frequency that spoke of immense, contained power, not alarming, but reassuring, like the distant heartbeat of a sleeping giant. The recycled air within his suit, still cool and expansive, carried a faint, almost subliminal scent, a clean mineral tang, interwoven with something else, something deeply organic, yet entirely artificial, like the memory of fresh soil or distant rain. The corridor continued its serpentine path, each gentle turn revealing a deepening complexity in the moon's internal architecture. The iridescent arches, now less dominant, began to give way to vast, smoothly curved walls that seemed to absorb the ambient light, rendering them a deep, reflective obsidian. The low hum Eris had perceived now resolved into a multi-layered resonance, a symphony of quiet machinery working in perfect, rhythmic concert beneath the polished surfaces. This chamber was more enclosed, yet equally immense, a perfectly formed cylinder that stretched upwards beyond his immediate sight, its ceiling lost in a soft, diffused glow that hinted at unseen power sources. Along the walls, a new feature emerged. Translucent panels, seamlessly integrated, began to shimmer into view. Within their depths, faint, intricate patterns of light pulsed and flowed, resembling arterial networks or complex data streams, glowing with an internal, cool blue radiance. Eris reached the central nexus of the vast, cylindrical chamber. The luminous pathway terminated at a circular platform, subtly elevated from the main floor, its surface a polished, dark gray that absorbed the light rather than reflecting it. creating a focal point of quiet gravity above this platform. In the expansive, silent air, the atmosphere itself seemed to coalesce. Slowly, gently, shimmering holographic projections began to materialize, swirling into existence like nascent dreams. These were not solid forms, but ethereal representations, delicate and luminous. First, a vast, complex double helix, spun from golden light, rotated slowly, its intricate structure a symbol of all life. Eris drifted closer to one of the translucent panels, his gaze drawn by the intricate light show within. The cool blue patterns, previously abstract, began to coalesce, forming fleeting, ethereal outlines of botanical structures. The delicate tracery of a fern frond, the robust helix of a vine, the intricate venation of an ancient leaf. These holographic whispers of life shimmered just beneath the surface, a silent promise held in stasis. Each surge of light, a data packet, a blueprint of a world long past, carefully archived. The quiet hum seemed to intensify around this particular panel, a subtle vibrato hinting at immense computational processes at work, guided by an instinct deeper than his training. Eris pushed off gently from the wall, allowing the minimal gravity to carry him further along the curving expanse of the chamber. The obsidian walls, so smoothly reflective, now subtly parted in places, revealing discreet, arched alcoves that appeared like hidden entrances. These were not mere decorative features. Within their shadowed depths, a faint emerald glow began to pulse, a stark contrast to the dominant blues and violets. It was a hue that spoke of chlorophyll, of photosynthesis, an echo of vibrant green life in this sterile, metallic world. As he approached one of these alcoves, the emerald light resolved into a grid of tiny, glowing indicators, each one marking a perfectly preserved cryopod, recessed seamlessly into the wall. Through a transparent outer layer, Eris could discern the faint, intricate structures within not seeds themselves, but the microscopic beginnings of life, genetic sequences suspended in shimmering, ultra-cold liquid. A whisper of the organic scent he'd noticed earlier, now stronger, seemed to emanate from these hidden sanctuaries. A deeply calming, almost ancient aroma of Earth's forgotten forests, carefully synthesized and maintained. The stars are waiting. If you enjoyed this voyage into tomorrow, subscribe for new journeys every week. Tell us in the comments where you would like to explore next. Sleep well, stargazer. Eris drifted into the nearest arched alcove, the emerald luminescence drawing him deeper. The obsidian walls here were subtly different, losing their perfect reflectivity to become more porous, almost organic in texture, as if he were passing through petrified bark. The passage curved gently, narrowing slightly before expanding again. And with each meter, the cool blues of the main chamber receded, replaced entirely by a warm, pulsing green, a faint, earthy scent, subtle as a memory, seemed to coalesce in the air, a ghost of rich soil and growing things in this lunar tomb. The passage opened into a vast, cylindrical chamber, smaller than the previous one, but far more intimate. Its circular walls entirely composed of tiered, transparent pods. Within each pod, bathed in a soft, self-generated emerald light, lay intricate structures of preserved plant life, delicate fern spores, tightly coiled tendrils of forgotten vines, and miniature, perfectly rendered saplings, held in a perpetual, dreamlike stasis. It was a silent, botanical garden suspended in time, each living archive glowing with a faint, internal luminescence, a testament to what once was and what could be again. As Eris drifted closer, the intricate details within the transparent pods became clearer. Tiny, almost microscopic seeds pulsed with faint light, their dormant genetic codes humming with potential. Larger specimens, like the perfect replica of a forgotten terrestrial sunflower, or the resilient spiral of an ancient succulent, exhibited a faint, almost imperceptible tremor, as if on the verge of awakening. Along the floor of the chamber, subtly recessed, were slender data conduits that fed into each pod, a silent network dedicated to maintaining these fragile echoes of life, waiting for a signal, a command, to stir them from their deep, lunar slumber. Eris extended a gloved hand, hovering it near the cool, unyielding surface of a transparent pod. The material, a bioluminescent composite, felt almost alive beneath his fingertips, a conduit for the gentle, emerald light emanating from within. Inside, a single, perfectly preserved rose, its petals a spectral white against the green glow, was suspended within a shimmering, nutrient-rich gel, its intricate form so lifelike it seemed to hold a breath. Around its delicate base, a faint, azure lattice of its genetic code hummed silently, a dormant symphony of information, waiting for the cues of a future sun to awaken. He traced the ethereal blue lines with his gaze, feeling the weight of the past and the promise of tomorrow. Drifting further along the gentle curve of the chamber, Eris noticed a faint shimmer coalescing in the ambient light, a holographic interface materializing near a central obsidian column that rose gracefully from the floor. As his presence was subtly registered by unseen sensors, elegant, delicate script bloomed across the projection, detailing the pod's contents with precision. Rosa alba, Earth species ID 773, climate adaptability moderate, revival protocol Alpha 7. It was more than data. It was a silent, living library, categorizing the very essence of forgotten life. Each entry a whispered promise of restoration. A soft, rhythmic pulse emanated from the console. Like a distant heartbeat, the chamber continued to unfold. A breathtaking spiral of emerald light, receding into a gentle, upward curve that suggested immense depth. Each tiered row of pods held not just variations of single specimens, but entire, miniaturized ecosystems distilled into their genetic essence. Eris could discern the ghostly outlines of ancient forests with their towering sequoias, vast fields of golden wheat swaying in an imagined breeze, and even vibrant coral reefs, their delicate structures perfectly preserved, all encapsulated, categorized, and held in suspended animation. The sheer scale of the endeavor was profoundly humbling. A planetary memory painstakingly encapsulated within the very lunar rock, waiting patiently for a distant terrestrial dawn. The gentle, rhythmic pulse from the console intensified almost imperceptibly, drawing Eris closer. As his hand reached towards the shimmering interface, the azure lattice of data around the rose pod pulsed in kind. A silent conversation between dormant life and the vault's intricate systems. The holographic script shifted, expanding to reveal not just one species, but a cascading catalog of Earth's botanical heritage, meticulously organized by biome, adaptation, and rarity. Each entry was accompanied by a miniature, ethereal projection of the plant, glowing faintly as if breathing. Guided by the interface's silent projections, Eris drifted along the chamber's curved wall, the light growing softer, shifting from emerald to a deep, contemplative sapphire. Here, the pods were different, larger, housing not individual plants, but entire ecosystems in miniature. He passed a cluster of transparent spheres, each encasing a fragment of an ancient rainforest canopy, complete with miniaturized mosses clinging to spectral tree trunks and luminous fungi blossoming on the simulated forest floor. These were not mere archives. They were dormant worlds, waiting for the echo of rain. A faint, almost imperceptible tremor resonated through the metallic floor beneath him. A distant thrum that spoke of the immense machinery keeping this celestial ark alive. It was the whisper of life support, the hum of countless systems working in silent harmony, maintaining the perfect atmospheric pressure, temperature, and nutrient flow for these precious samples. Above, the cavernous ceiling, previously a uniform dark, now revealed a network of faint, pulsing conduits weaving through the bedrock like luminous, icy veins, hinting at the vault's deep internal structure. Eris's path led him into a new domain, where the sapphire glow deepened to an abyssal indigo. curved walls here gave way to vast, cylindrical tanks, each filled with a subtly glowing, viscous fluid. Within them, intricate patterns of suspended algae pulsed with an inner light, mimicking the silent dances of deep-sea flora. This section was cooler, the air carrying a faint, clean scent of ozone and distant brine, a stark contrast to the humid warmth of the simulated rainforest. One tank, larger than the rest, held a ghostly, perfect replica of a coral reef, its delicate structures glowing with faint bioluminescence. Tiny, spectral fish hung motionless in the simulated currents, their forms rendered in shimmering light. The accompanying holographic display explained the complex cryopreservation of entire marine ecosystems, noting the delicate balance required to maintain not just species, but their intricate interdependencies. A silent testament to the ingenuity of those who built this ark. As he continued, the pathway subtly sloped downwards, leading him into what felt like the moon's very core. The smooth, organic curvature of the previous chambers began to give way to more angular, structured corridors. Here, the walls pulsed with a faint, internal rhythm, and a low, resonant hum vibrated gently through the floor. The distant thrum of the vault's life support and energy systems, a constant lullaby for the dormant worlds within. It was a transition from the biological archives to the engineering marvel that sustained them. Eris continued his silent procession, the indigo light of the marine sections gradually deepening to an almost absolute blackness, punctuated only by distant, rhythmic pulses of violet light. The vast cylindrical tanks tapered here, giving way to a labyrinth of intricate, smaller conduits and spherical containers, each no larger than a human head, yet holding worlds within these transparent globes, not grand ecosystems, but the infinitesimal building blocks of life, pulsed with a quiet, internal luminescence. Microscopic algal blooms, once the silent engines of Earth's primary production, now swirled in luminous, self-contained eddies, their genetic code suspended in shimmering gels of advanced cryopreservant. Each sphere was a microcosm of silent activity, a contained universe of forgotten flora. Other spheres held not life, but the very breath of a lost world. Ethereal clouds of preserved atmospheric gases, painstakingly filtered, purified, and stabilized to capture specific strata of Earth's ancient air. As Eris moved deeper, the passage widened into a vast, circular antechamber, its polished walls not lined with containers, but seamlessly embedded with translucent data panels that shimmered with complex, interlocking patterns of light. He paused before a central console, its smooth, obsidian-like surface a pool of calm, cerulean light, reflecting the distant pulses from the spherical vaults he had just left. A gentle sweep of his gloved hand across its plane activated a holographic projection that bloomed silently, majestically, into the space before him. It was a layered diagram of Earth's atmosphere, not as it was now, but as it had once been, a delicate tapestry of gases, temperatures, and pressures. Each stratum labeled with archaic chemical formulae, intricate ecological parameters, and historical weather patterns. The display elaborated on the incredibly intricate processes used to capture, analyze, and replicate these conditions, detailing how the vault wasn't just preserving individual species, but the very environmental matrices required for their future genesis. It spoke of cryoatmospheric storage, elemental resource banks, and the precise orbital mechanics calculated to mimic ancient planetary cycles, all designed to reconstruct a living, breathing planet. The path curved once more, leading Eris away from the soft, scientific glow of the data chambers into a realm of silent, ancient geology. The air here became notably colder, a subtle chill that permeated his suit, carrying the faint, metallic scent of rock and deep earth, a primeval aroma contained within the sterile environment. The smooth, engineered walls of the vault gave way abruptly to colossal, crystalline structures that seemed to grow organically from the lunar bedrock itself, yet bore the unmistakable marks of careful extraction, stabilization, and preservation. These were not biological archives, but geological ones. Immense, perfectly preserved core samples, some towering dozens of meters high, shimmering with embedded veins of rare minerals that caught and refracted the light. Others revealed the delicate, multicolored strata of ancient earth, layers of time encapsulated in silent stone, each band a testament to epochs of volcanic eruptions, ocean formation, and continental drift. Giant pillars of petrified forest, entire ancient trees extracted millennia ago from prehistoric swamps, now stood sentinel in solemn stillness, their molecular structure stabilized by an invisible field of energy that made them faintly hum with a latent, captured power. The holographic projection before Eris shimmered, expanding on the intricate dance of gases, temperatures, and pressures that once enveloped a living Earth. It wasn't just a diagram, it was a ghost, a perfect memory of a world's breath. He saw how the vault hadn't merely trapped air, but had deconstructed it, separating each atmospheric layer into its constituent elements, then carefully reassembling them within designated cryochambers, ready for a distant future's ecological need. The console pulsed gently, now displaying the complex isotopic signatures preserved. The precise ratios of nitrogen, oxygen, and trace gases that constituted specific ancient epochs, each one a unique climatic fingerprint. Eris understood the sheer, audacious scale of this endeavor, not just saving species, but saving the very conditions that allowed those species to thrive. It spoke of delicate energy fields maintaining precise molecular stasis, of microscopic atmospheric recyclers silently filtering and balancing, ensuring not a single atom was lost or altered. A soft, almost imperceptible shift in the antechamber's floor guided Eris forward, the translucent data panels receding as a new passage opened, bathed in a different quality of light. A soft, warm amber that hinted at concealed power. He stepped through, leaving the atmospheric simulations behind, and found himself in a vast, cavernous space. This was not a chamber of light and data, but of immense, silent mass, towering crystalline structures, seemingly grown from the moon's very bedrock, ascended into the distant ceiling, their facets shimmering with trapped light. These were the elemental resource banks, each crystal pulsed with an internal contained energy, holding within its matrix the foundational building blocks of a planet. Vast quantities of purified water in molecular suspension, sequestered carbon in diamond-like formations, and intricate arrays of rare earth minerals, all in states of suspended animation. Closer inspection revealed the extraordinary detail within these crystalline vaults. Some structures were not monolithic, but composed of countless interlocking hexagonal units, each glowing with a faint, internal luminescence, housing specific isotopes of noble gases, meticulously separated and stored. Others were translucent, revealing within them the intricate patterns of solidified trace metals, or vast, swirling eddies of preserved oceanic compounds, their molecular structures held in a state of perfect crystalline suspension. Eris paused before a particularly large formation, its surface rippling with soft, internal currents of light, indicating a repository of primordial water. It was water not just purified, but cataloged by its geological origin, its ancient mineral content preserved. Here, the very memory of Earth's oceans and continents was enshrined, inert yet ready to be awakened. Eris allowed his gaze to drift along the colossal facets, observing the internal geometry of the crystals. They weren't inert, subtle currents of light, like frozen rivers of energy, flowed deep within their structures. He recognized the stratified layers within some, holding distinct isotopic forms of elements critical for planetary formation, silicates for bedrock, metallic hydrogen for stellar cores, trace noble gases, each captured in a perfect, quiescent state. It was a geological library, silently humming with the potential to recreate worlds, not just sustain life. The sheer scale of molecular organization was breathtaking, a testament to an impossible foresight. As he moved further into the silent expanse, a low thrum resonated through the floor, a vibration too subtle for sound, felt more as a deep pressure against his boots. Ahead, embedded within one of the largest crystal formations, a series of intricately woven light channels pulsed with a new rhythm. These channels converged on a central nexus, a polished obsidian panel reflecting the distant crystalline glows. It wasn't a control panel in the traditional sense, but an interpretive interface, translating the internal states of the elemental reservoirs into a language of slow-shifting colors and almost imperceptible energy fields, indicating readiness and stability. A gentle hum intensified from beyond the obsidian nexus, drawing Eris towards a circular aperture that had been concealed until now. This opening wasn't a raw cut in the rock, but a perfectly smooth, luminescent ring, hinting at a new structural material. As he passed through, the air subtly shifted. It was warmer, carrying a faint, almost imperceptible scent, reminiscent of damp earth after a long rain, or perhaps something more ancient, the ghost of verdant growth. The cold blue glow of the elemental chambers faded, replaced by a soft, diffused green light that seemed to emanate from the very atmosphere, promising a different kind of life preserved within. Eris extended a gloved hand towards the polished obsidian, not quite touching, but feeling the subtle pull of its energy field. The panel responded, its surface rippling with internal light, like water stirred by an unseen current. Hieroglyph-like symbols, intricate and luminous, began to unfurl across its dark face, detailing the precise isotopic compositions within the resource banks, cross-referenced with potential planetary biomes. They could help sustain. A slow, steady pulse emanated, a warm, reassuring hum that resonated deep within his bones, signifying a complete and unwavering stability in the foundational elements. It was a silent conversation between human and machine, a confirmation of readiness, a silent promise whispered across light years and millennia. The display then shifted, coalescing into a complex three-dimensional schematic of the moon's inner layers, highlighting a new path, a shimmering conduit leading deeper into the core. Following the illuminated directive from the obsidian panel, Eris turned away from the vast crystalline cavern. A section of the polished floor, previously indistinguishable from its surroundings, now shimmered with an inviting, soft violet luminescence, parting silently to reveal a downward sloping ramp. It wasn't a sharp drop, but a gradual, almost imperceptible descent, lined with spiraling conduits that pulsed with synchronized light, guiding the way. The air grew perceptibly cooler, a fresh, clean chill that hinted at deep cryopreservation systems beyond as he stepped onto the ramp. A gentle, upward pressure against his boots confirmed a subtle gravitational shift, easing his passage deeper into the moon's artificial heart. The crystalline walls of the previous chamber slowly receded, giving way to polished, seamless metal alloys, imbued with a soft, diffused glow from within. The gentle slope flattened into a wide, circular antechamber, its ceiling a dizzying dome of interlocking hexagonal panels, each embedded with tiny, star-like points of light that mimicked a distant galaxy. In the center, a colossal, transparent column rose from the floor, filled with a slowly swirling, luminous mist. Within this mist, like motes of stardust, countless microcapsules drifted, each no larger than a grain of sand, yet each a universe of potential. These were the primary genetic archives, not yet segregated into specific species, but a primordial soup of coded potential, awaiting activation and differentiation. A low, rhythmic hum resonated from the column, a sound akin to a sleeping giant's breath, a pulse of life held in perfect stasis, waiting for its moment to awaken. Around the column, vast, curved walls glowed with a faint green hue, hinting at the dormant biological material within. The ramp flattened into a grand, softly curving corridor, its seamless metal walls reflecting the synchronized pulses of light from the embedded conduits. These lines of illumination, once mere guides, now revealed themselves as intricate arteries, flowing with a silent, vibrant energy. The air, cool and clean, carried a subtle, almost imperceptible scent of ozone and living earth, a paradox in this deep lunar interior. Eris moved with a steady, unhurried pace, the subtle upward pressure under his boots continuing to cradle him, making his steps light and effortless. The corridor's design was elegantly simple, yet its scale hinted at the immense structure it traversed, a silent testament to the ingenuity that had transformed a barren moon into a sanctuary. As Eris progressed, the corridor occasionally widened into alcoves, revealing arrays of crystalline panels that shimmered with an inner light, distinct from the guiding conduits. These weren't mere decorations. They were the visible interfaces of the moon's intricate environmental systems, subtly regulating the pressure, temperature, and atmospheric composition for areas yet unseen. A soft, continuous hum, almost beneath the threshold of hearing, emanated from these panels, a soothing reassurance of the vault's constant vigilance. The air, though already pristine, felt even fresher here, as if passing through unseen purifiers, readying the environment for the precious cargo it protected. The corridor eventually opened into a vast, cylindrical chamber, stretching upwards and downwards beyond the reach of his headlamp, its polished surfaces disappearing into a deep, ethereal haze. In the center of this immense space, a single, towering column of light pulsed gently, its core a deep, inviting violet, fanning out into softer blues as it diffused through the chamber. This central column wasn't just light. It felt like a conduit of pure, quiescent energy, the very heartbeat of the moon vault. Suspended within the chamber's vastness, almost imperceptibly, were what appeared to be massive, dormant storage units, their forms indistinct in the diffused glow, silent sentinels awaiting activation. As Eris continued, the subtle upward pressure under his boots gradually eased, transitioning into a barely perceptible downward pull, guiding him further into the moon's depths. The soft glow on the walls intensified slightly, and from the seamless metal, intricate, shimmering patterns began to emerge. These weren't static designs, but dynamic, ethereal projections, shifting and flowing like currents of liquid light. They depicted familiar, yet distant forms. The unfurling fronds of ancient ferns, the delicate spiral of a sunflower head, the vibrant veins of a rainforest leaf. Each image pulsed with a gentle internal luminescence, a silent gallery of a world long past, preserved as spectral echoes within the moon's metallic skin. Eris paused, his gaze tracing the intricate details of a projected orchid, its petals rendered in exquisite, fragile beauty, a ghost of color against the cold metal. The corridor continued its gentle descent for what felt like an extended period, the botanical holograms eventually fading as the path began to widen significantly. A new, deeper hum resonated through the structure, a profound, resonant frequency that spoke of immense power and profound stillness. Eris emerged into a colossal, circular chamber, its ceiling a distant, vaulted expanse of dark, polished alloy, punctuated by pinpricks of soft, cold light that mimicked distant stars. The chamber was immense, silent, and filled with towering, monolithic structures. These were not walls, but colossal, multi-layered cylinders, arranged in concentric rings, each glowing with a faint, internal azure light. These were the primary cryocontainment units, stretching upwards and outwards, silent sentinels protecting generations of dormant life. The sheer scale of the chamber was awe-inspiring, a tangible manifestation of humanity's desperate hope. Eris slowly walked towards the nearest ring of cryocylinders, his steps light on the polished floor. The surface of these massive units was smooth, and cold to the touch, a mirror-like finish that absorbed and then softly re-emitted the faint azure glow. Embedded within the surface of each cylinder at regular intervals were small, crystalline data interfaces. As Eris approached one, a soft, ethereal light bloomed from within, projecting a cascade of shimmering glyphs and tiny, intricate botanical schematics. These were not mere labels, but living indices displaying the genetic identification, environmental parameters, and dormant status of the myriad species held within. He reached out, his gloved finger hovering just above the interface, observing the ghostly image of a long-extinct terrestrial wildflower. Its delicate form meticulously catalogued and endlessly preserved. The moon was not merely a seed vault, but a library of all biological memory. Eris took a slow, deliberate step towards the nearest colossal cylinder. Its smooth, cool alloy surface reflecting the faint azure glow from within. The soft, deep hum that had resonated through the chamber now felt closer, a gentle vibration against the soles of his boots. He noticed, embedded in the seamless material, a series of minute, almost invisible data nodes, each flickering with an almost imperceptible indigo light, like dormant synapses awaiting activation. This wasn't merely a storage unit. It was a vast, slumbering network. As he neared, the faint azure light seemed to coalesce, revealing a subtle, internal motion. It wasn't the light itself moving, but what lay beneath its surface. Countless translucent layers, like the delicate skins of an onion, each containing a faint, almost ethereal silhouette. These shapes, barely discernible, were the ghost forms of microscopic structures, dormant cells, fragile spores, the intricate blueprints of vanished life, all suspended in timeless stasis. The light was not merely aesthetic, it was the visible pulse of their preservation. Eris slowly lifted his gaze, following the towering cylinder upwards until it merged with the vaulted dark ceiling, then across to the concentric rings that vanished into the chamber's distant edges. Each ring was a wall of these silent guardians, a vast, intricate archive of biological possibility, stretching further than the eye could comfortably perceive. The sheer volume of preserved life, held in this tranquil, cold suspension, was a quiet monument to both loss and an unyielding, desperate hope. A silent promise whispered across the void. Eris extended a gloved hand, not quite touching the cool alloy surface, but hovering just above one of the subtly glowing data nodes. As if sensing his presence, or perhaps his intention, the faint indigo light intensified, then rippled outwards. A delicate lattice of emerald lines began to unfold across the surface, tracing ephemeral pathways, and then converging into a small, holographic display that shimmered into existence just inches from the alloy. It was a precise, elegant projection, a window into the dormant world within. The holographic projection solidified, morphing from abstract patterns into the intricate, blooming image of a vanished earth orchid. Its delicate petals, rendered in spectral light, pulsed with a soft, internal energy, a silent testament to its once vibrant existence. Alongside it, scroll-like sequences of genetic code unfurled, flowing like luminous rivers of information, detailing every nuanced aspect of its being. Eris watched, captivated by the ghost of a flower, a whisper from a world long gone. With a quiet sigh that barely stirred the still air within his helmet, Eris deactivated the display, allowing the ethereal orchid to gently recede. He then turned his gaze from the singular cylinder, sweeping across the vastness of the chamber. He noticed, in the subtle shifts of the azure light, faint, almost imperceptible pathways weaving between the colossal units, like dormant veins within a massive organism. These were clearly designated traversal routes, promising deeper access into the moon's biological heart. The ethereal orchid held Eris captive for a long, silent moment, its spectral beauty a fragile echo of a lost world. Then, with a slow, deliberate fluidity, the holographic projection began to retract, its luminous petals dissolving back into the stream of genetic code. The emerald lattice pulsed once more, not receding, but expanding, sending delicate lines of light tracing across the entire alloy surface. What had been a single window into an ancient life form now unfurled into a sweeping, intricate map. Myriad pinpricks of indigo light, like distant stars in a miniature galaxy, blossomed into being, each representing a distinct species, a unique lineage, a universe of vanished biology. The network thrummed with a quiet, powerful energy, a silent testament to the moon's immense, sleeping cargo. Eris felt a profound sense of awe, recognizing the sheer scale of the task ahead and the staggering depth of what humanity had managed to preserve within this celestial arc. As the sprawling map solidified, a singular thread of emerald light began to detach itself from the interwoven tapestry, growing bolder and brighter. It pulsed with a gentle, inviting rhythm, then began to weave a new path, not across the surface of the data node, but away from it, extending like a luminous guide into the vastness of the chamber. The light hovered, a beckoning finger of pure energy, pointing towards a subtle seam in the colossal alloy wall, previously almost imperceptible. This was no random display. It was a carefully curated route, a digital breadcrumb trail laid out for him. Eris understood. The system was acknowledging his presence, his purpose, and was now initiating the next phase of his journey. With a quiet resolve, he slowly began to detach himself from the console, his movements deliberate, his eyes fixed on the softly glowing pathway, ready to follow its silent command. The subtle seam in the wall expanded with a barely audible sigh of displaced air, revealing a passage that led into the heart of Artemis' Ark. As Eris stepped forward, the emerald light pulsed, mirroring his movement, before settling into a soft, ambient luminescence that illuminated the path ahead. He found himself in a vast, cylindrical corridor, its walls a seamless expanse of polished, dark matter that seemed to absorb all sound, creating an almost sacred silence. Above and below, subtle lines of violet light traced pathways along unseen conduits, hinting at the complex energy flows maintaining this colossal sanctuary. The corridor stretched far into the distance, a luminous artery guiding him deeper into the moon's core, towards the dormant repositories of life. Eris's boots made no sound on the smooth floor, and the only proof of his progress was the slow, steady shift of the distant, soft light beckoning him onward. Eris drifted away from the console, the faint hum of its operational core receding like a distant memory. The emerald thread, now his sole guide, pulsed with a rhythm that felt less like a signal and more like a gentle heartbeat. It led him across the gleaming alloy floor, its luminescence soft against the deep navy of the chamber, painting fleeting shadows that stretched and contracted with his deliberate steps. Each movement was a testament to the heavy silence that enveloped him, a hush so profound it seemed to absorb all sound, leaving only the quiet rush of his own internal systems. The air, though recycled and pure, carried a subtle chill that spoke of immense, contained spaces. As he approached the colossal wall, the faint seam, previously a mere whisper in the metallic expanse, began to respond to the light's proximity. The passage was a marvel of engineered quietude. The floor beneath Eris's magnetic boots provided a firm, slightly textured grip, subtly dampening any resonance from his steps. The descent was gradual, a long, elegant curve that spiraled gently downwards, giving a soft sense of orientation without any dizzying shifts. The walls, smooth and cool to the touch, pulsed with a diffused, internal glow that shifted between deep cyan and soft violet, mimicking the aurora borealis, yet utterly contained within the moon's metallic shell. This light was not just aesthetic. It was an integral part of the passage, illuminating without glare, guiding without demanding attention. The emerald thread, still unwavering, floated a few paces ahead, its intensity constant, a luminous reassurance in the deepening quiet. After what felt like a timeless descent, the curving tunnel began to subtly straighten, its violet and cyan luminescence giving way to a more expansive view. The emerald light, which had led him tirelessly, began to spread, diffusing into a wider, ambient glow as the passage opened into a truly colossal chamber. This was not a corridor, but a vast, cylindrical space, its walls rising to an invisible ceiling far above, disappearing into a haze of cold blue light. What truly captivated Eris were the layers, dozens, perhaps hundreds, of circular platforms stacked one upon another, stretching upwards and downwards into the immensity. Each platform was accessible by individual, transparent conduits that crisscrossed the void, glowing with soft, internal light, like veins of a living organism. The emerald guide light resolved itself not into a new moving thread, but into a fixed, pulsing beacon on a central, lower platform, indicating a specific point of ingress. The gentle spiral continued its unhurried descent, guiding Eris deeper into the lunar core. The walls, once smooth, now bore faint, intricate etchings that caught the shifting cyan and violet light, revealing abstract patterns reminiscent of ancient root systems or crystalline growth. Each etched line seemed to absorb a fraction of the ambient glow, creating a subtle interplay of light and shadow that danced across the cool alloy. A barely perceptible shift in air density, a delicate pressure change, signaled the increasing depth. A vast, sealed volume opening up below him. The emerald thread, unwavering, maintained its tranquil pace, a constant beacon in the quiet, spiraling void. After what felt like a timeless journey, the passage gracefully widened, unfurling into a colossal, cylindrical chamber. This space dwarfed Eris, its sheer scale a silent testament to the ingenuity that had hollowed a world. Instead of solid walls, immense, convex panels of a smoky, translucent material stretched upwards and downwards, curving gently with the chamber's form. Through their soft haze, Eris could discern the ethereal outlines of distant, interconnected structures, a mesmerizing lattice of support beams and hidden conduits, illuminated by a deep, internal glow emanating from the moon's very heart. The diffused light filtered through these layers, creating an illusion of infinite depth and layered serenity. As Eris stood at the chamber's threshold, absorbing the quiet grandeur, a low, rhythmic thrum began to resonate through the magnetic floor beneath his boots. It was a deep, steady pulse, almost imperceptible at first, then slowly building into a comforting vibration that spoke of dormant power and contained life. On the nearest translucent panel, a delicate ripple of light expanded, coalescing into a shimmering, intricate holographic projection. It wasn't an image of an object, but a dynamic, fractal pattern, slowly unfurling and branching like the growth of a microscopic plant. A silent, elegant whisper of the biological wonders, carefully preserved within the moon's metallic shell. The colossal chamber stretched out, a silent symphony of engineered space. Eris, suspended in its heart, allowed the emerald thread to gently tug him forward. The sensation was less of being pulled and more of being invited into the quiet immensity. As he drifted, the ambient glow from the moon's core seemed to deepen, casting longer, more fluid shadows that danced with his slow rotation. He began to discern subtle variations in the translucent panels. Some sections appeared slightly thicker. Others held a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer, like distant heat haze, hinting at an internal energy circulation. A soft, constant hum, too low to be heard, but felt as a delicate vibration against his suit, resonated through the vast space, a testament to the colossal systems at work, maintaining this world within a world. This wasn't merely a hollowed shell. It was a living, breathing mechanism, meticulously designed to safeguard a precious legacy. The emerald thread, a gentle whisper of direction, guided Eris closer to one of the immense, smoky panels. As he approached, the ethereal outlines he had observed from a distance began to resolve into tangible form. Behind the translucent haze, he could now clearly distinguish vast, interlocking hexagonal modules, stacked and interconnected like an intricate cellular structure, each bathed in its own soft, internal cyan glow. These modules were not static. Faint, slow-pulsing lights rippled across their surfaces, suggesting complex energy transfers and data flows. Intricate patterns of cabling, luminous like veins of light, threaded between the hexagonal segments, disappearing into the depths beyond. A barely perceptible, sweet, and faintly earthy scent, reminiscent of damp soil after a long rain, seemed to filter through the very fabric of the panel, a ghost of the life forms it was designed to preserve. It was an olfactory memory, a soft suggestion of dormant ecosystems held in cryogenic suspension. The emerald thread's light intensified slightly, drawing Eris towards a section where two of the colossal convex panels met. Without any visible seam or sound, a narrow aperture, tall and slender, shimmered open between them, inviting him into a new zone. He drifted through the threshold, leaving the vastness of the cylindrical chamber behind. The space he now entered was narrower, more defined, a passage that felt both deliberate and protective. The walls here were no longer translucent, but formed of smooth, dark alloy, absorbing the ambient light rather than diffusing it. Evenly spaced alcoves lined this passage, each perfectly recessed into the polished surface. The emerald thread, a beacon of silent purpose, drew Eris closer still, until his gloved fingertips almost brushed the surface of the hexagonal module. He extended his hand slowly, a deliberate motion in the zero-G, and made contact. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth radiated back, a stark contrast to the ambient chill of deep space. Through the resilient material of his suit, he could feel the low thrumming intensify, a steady, rhythmic pulse that seemed to resonate deep within his own chest. The panels themselves felt like solidified light, firm yet subtly yielding, as if holding a vast, contained energy just beneath their surface. The earthy scent, now distinctly richer, hinted at a fertile abundance held in timeless stasis. As Eris maintained his gentle contact, a faint click resonated through the vast quiet, a sound so subtle it might have been missed, if not for the profound stillness of the vault. The luminous patterns on the hexagonal panel began to shift, slowly, almost reluctantly, like blooming phosphorescent petals. The intricate lines of light that crisscrossed its surface pulsed with renewed vigor, tracing a delicate seam that began to part. A whisper of atmosphere, colder and purer than the ambient space, escaped through the nascent opening, carrying with it a concentrated essence of that deep, fertile earthiness. Slowly, deliberately, the hexagonal segment hinged inward, revealing a glimpse into the heart of the dormant world within. Through the widening aperture, a new vista unfolded. Beyond the intricate mechanisms of the outer layer, a vast, cavernous space stretched into the distance, illuminated by countless soft, individual points of light. These lights, like distant stars, emanated from countless crystalline pods, neatly arranged in towering, serpentine racks that disappeared into the ambient shadows. Each pod glowed with a faint, hopeful emerald hue, a silent promise. The air that now gently flowed around Eris carried the full, rich aroma of a living forest after a rainstorm, an impossibly vibrant scent within the sterile vacuum. It was the scent of life, meticulously preserved, waiting. The opening widened just enough for Eris to drift through, propelled gently by the lingering pressure differential. He found himself within a narrow, gently arcing passageway, its walls crafted from the same luminous, crystalline material as the outer hull. A soft, perpetual twilight pervaded the space, emanating from the walls themselves, casting everything in a palette of cool blues and faint greens. The earthy scent, now richer and multi-layered, hinted at damp soil, ancient wood, and something subtly floral. An entire ecosystem compressed into an olfactory whisper. He could discern intricate conduits embedded just beneath the surface of the walls, pulsing with an almost imperceptible inner light, like delicate veins carrying unseen vitality. The passageway gradually unfurled, widening into a cavernous chamber that stretched beyond the reach of his headlamp. Its true scale only hinted at by the distant, shimmering structures, thousands of towering, crystalline pillars, slender and iridescent, ascended into the unseen ceiling, each emitting a faint, resonant hum that vibrated through the floor beneath his feet. Between these pillars, motes of pure, holographic light drifted lazily, coalescing and dissolving, displaying abstract patterns that subtly shifted like living constellations. These patterns, Eris knew, were encrypted genetic sequences, the silent library of Earth's lost biodiversity, perpetually cycling through its dormant code. The air here was cooler, crisper, carrying the faintest tang of ozone mixed with the now familiar, calming earthiness. He drifted closer to one of the crystalline pillars, its surface smooth and cool, reflecting the distant glows in miniature. Through its translucent material, he could discern intricate patterns suspended within, illuminated by a soft, internal luminescence. They were not abstract designs, but meticulously arranged structures. What appeared to be perfectly preserved leaves, tightly coiled seed pods, delicate tendrils of roots, and even minuscule fungal spores, frozen in timeless stasis. Each pillar was a self-contained arc, a microcosm of a lost world, its internal light a testament to the latent life held captive. The low hum intensified here, a gentle lullaby sung by the cryogenic systems, a constant whisper of preservation. Eris extended a gloved hand, not quite touching, towards a cloud of holographic light that shimmered near a pillar. As if responding to his proximity, the abstract patterns within it resolved for a fleeting moment into the delicate fractal structure of a fern frond, then the intricate spiral of a sunflower head. The change was swift, a silent flicker of recognition encoded in light. The faint hum resonating from the pillars seemed to deepen in pitch, a subtle vibrational chord that permeated his suit, a gentle, almost imperceptible whisper of awakening. He felt a profound sense of connection to these dormant forms, their silent promise held captive in light. Following an almost imperceptible current in the air, Eris drifted further into the expansive chamber. The pillars, once uniformly spaced, began to diverge, creating wide, arching corridors of light that beckoned him deeper. Each arc was a masterpiece of engineered bioluminescence, the crystalline surfaces undulating with faint, internal currents of energy. Above him, the unseen ceiling shimmered with distant, reflected light, hinting At an even greater scale, the floor beneath his feet, though solid, felt like a gently vibrating membrane, channeling the deep, resonant hum, guiding him towards a central nexus point. The arching corridors converged upon a vast, circular dais, subtly elevated from the main floor. At its center stood a singular, massive crystalline structure, different from the pillars, more akin to an ancient, gnarled tree trunk crafted from living light. Its surface pulsed with a steady, warm amber glow, a stark contrast to the cool blues and greens of the surrounding chamber. Intricate pathways of light traced across its form, like roots reaching into unseen depths. Here, the multi-layered earthy scent was most potent, a comforting embrace of damp soil and blooming vitality, far more concentrated than before. This was not merely an archive. It was a heart, the gently vibrating membrane beneath Eris's feet led him inexorably towards the central nexus point. As he approached, the diverging pillars of light converged upon a vast, silently rotating sphere. It pulsed with an internal, resonant thrum, a deep, harmonic counterpoint to the subtle vibrations in the floor, coalescing into a core of pure, pulsating cyan. This was the heart of the genetic archive, he realized, a colossal processing unit where all the encrypted genetic information from the pillars converged. Intricate, ephemeral patterns shimmered across its surface, showing fleeting, complex arrangements of entire biomes, forests, coral reefs, plains teeming with life, before dissolving back into lines of shimmering code. The air here was perfectly still, charged with the clean scent of ozone, carrying the immense responsibility of all dormant life within its silent, brilliant core. As Eris stood captivated before the nexus, a subtle but profound shift occurred. The intense cyan light at the sphere's core dimmed momentarily, drawing inwards, and in its place, a new, softer violet glow emanated from a colossal, unseen archway that opened directly behind the nexus. A distinct, cooler draft, carrying a faint mineral tang, touched his gloved hands, signaling a transition to a different kind of environment. This wasn't the open, vibrant hum of genetic data, but something hushed, more contained, and profoundly cold. He felt a magnetic pull towards this new passage, an ancient summons, sensing that it led to the physical heart of the vault, the cryochambers themselves, where life was held in absolute stillness. Drifting through the violet-lit archway, Eris found himself in a cavernous, almost silent corridor. The bioluminescence here was less vibrant, a muted, consistent lavender that coated the crystalline walls, absorbing sound. The floor beneath was no longer vibrating, but solid and smooth, reflecting the dim light like polished ice, hinting at the lowered temperatures. Along both sides of this immense passage, colossal, shimmering hexagonal panels stretched into the distant gloom, each pulsating faintly with an internal rhythmic glow, like slumbering hearts. These were the outer shells of the cryo-storage units, he realized, containing the dormant life forms in their frozen slumber. The sheer scale was breathtaking, a silent, powerful testament to humanity's desperate, enduring hope, preserved in the moon's cold embrace. Eris drifted forward, the magnetic pull undeniable. The violet light deepened, swirling around him as he passed beneath the colossal archway. The air immediately became still and intensely cold, yet it was a dry, clean cold that settled rather than bit. The resonant hum of the Nexus was instantly muffled, replaced by a profound, pervasive silence. Ahead, the passage opened into a vast cavern, its distant reaches veiled in a gentle, shimmering frost, towering crystalline structures, translucent and faintly glowing with an internal, soft violet, rose from the floor and disappeared into the shadowed ceiling, their surfaces adorned with intricate patterns of frozen condensation. This was the threshold of absolute stasis, a realm where time itself seemed to slow, safeguarding the fragile seeds of life. His breath misted faintly, a delicate wisp against the pervasive chill. He continued deeper, his boots making no sound on the smooth, ice-kissed floor. The colossal cryo-units stretched in ordered rows, each a silent monument to a species held in timeless suspension. Some units appeared like colossal frozen flowers, their petals of frosted glass radiating a pale inner glow, while others resembled towering, intricate crystalline stalagmites reaching upwards. Between them, narrow pathways of polished, dark metal gleamed faintly, reflecting the soft, violet light. The scale was overwhelming, an entire world's worth of dormant life, meticulously catalogued and held in a slumber deeper than any winter. The soft glow from the units created long, shifting shadows that danced with his slow, deliberate movement. As Eris neared one of the central units, a holographic display flickered to life on its surface, projected by the internal systems. It presented a delicate, swirling vortex of microscopic botanical data, a cascade of genetic code rendered beautiful. Next to it, a ghost-like image of an ancient redwood tree, impossibly tall and majestic, shimmered for a moment before resolving into a detailed anatomical schematic. Other displays depicted the vibrant hues of a long-lost coral reef, or the intricate branching of mycelial networks, all held in perfect, frozen abstraction. These were not just seeds, he realized, but entire ecosystems, perfectly mapped and ready for resynthesis, each glowing with the quiet promise of renewal, waiting for the distant call to reawaken. The cold was a constant, gentle pressure, preserving every detail. Eris traced a path deeper into the labyrinth of suspended life, his gaze moving across the colossal cryo-units. Each one bore subtle markings, glyphs, and symbols, indicating the species it safeguarded. Some held the vibrant, impossible greens of ancient rainforests, others the muted browns and grays of forgotten tundra flora. The silence here was not empty, but rather filled with the potential of dormant life, a silent chorus awaiting a distant spring. He noticed a faint, almost imperceptible pulsation emanating from some of the units, a soft, rhythmic glow that suggested maintenance systems working in perfect, timeless synchronicity, cradling their precious cargo. He paused before a particularly large unit, shaped like a colossal, multifaceted crystal. Within its translucent walls, dimly visible through a layer of gentle frost, lay what appeared to be the dormant form of a towering sequoia. Its intricate vascular structure, usually hidden beneath bark, was now frozen in stunning clarity. Each growth rang a testament to centuries of life. Small, luminous data nodes embedded in the unit's base shimmered, ready to project information upon command. The scale of this single specimen was humbling, a reminder of Earth's lost giants, held in suspended animation, awaiting the day they might root again under a new sky. With a gentle touch to one of the luminous nodes, a holographic display flickered to life, projecting a soft, ethereal image of the sequoia as it once grew on Earth. Data streams scrolled silently beside it, detailing its full genomic sequence, its ecological role, and its last known geographical coordinates before the fall. The display was a window into a vibrant past, a quiet echo of the living world that humanity had striven to preserve. Eris absorbed the information, a deep sense of purpose settling within him, understanding the immense responsibility of bringing such profound stillness back to vibrant existence.